Thank you for joining us for our WTVA 9 News special, Coronavirus and the Classroom. I'm Craig Ford. Another year of the coronavirus, another year of school, but there is a big difference between last year and this year. Last year, we all learned how to handle school during the pandemic. This year, we've got a variant of the virus that is much more contagious. The Mississippi State Department of Health this week revealed more than 900 students and nearly 300 teachers and staff tested positive for the coronavirus. That's from August 2nd through August 6th. So, what else did the experts tell us? We turn to Mississippi State epidemiologist Dr. Paul Byers and State Health Officer Dr. Thomas Dobbs about those in elementary and high schools.
As school starts, and we've already seen a little bit of this, we anticipate that there's going to be more cases in younger individuals under the age of 18, and we've already seen some of that, and we actually monitored some of that over the summer, and we are seeing a growing number of our cases in younger children, in folks under the age of 18. We're seeing slight increases in the number of hospitalizations in those age groups as well. As we increase the burden and the overall numbers in those groups, it is possible that we will see more children who are hospitalized, and that's one of the unfortunate things. And that's why we need to apply those measures across the board. Get vaccinated if you're eligible in the school setting. Wear a mask, do physical distancing. Don't go to school if you're ill. Keep your children home. I mean, I think we have to use all of those tools in order to try to keep in-person classes and limit transmission. But it's going to be a tough road.
We learned last year in the schools that you can prevent COVID transmission in the classroom by the sort of steady application of masks, spacing, and preventing clustering of kids in a chaotic way. And it worked. It worked great. But I just want to make sure everybody understands you can't fill a classroom full of non-immune kids without a mask on with the most contagious coronavirus we've ever seen circulating, and expect for it not to spread. It's just biology. Our will and desire to abandon safety measures does not trump the reality of the biology of the Delta virus.
Alabama's Department of Public Health is also recommending students and teachers wear masks at school as they start the new year. Dr. Scott Harris recently shared why he believes it's the right way to go to make in-person learning happen.
There's a lot of impassioned people out there who feel really strongly about it on either side, and we are hearing all day long from people who are completely pro-mask and completely opposed to mask, and it's all day long. I would just say we're only making this recommendation because we think it's the best way to keep people safe. That's what we think. Schools are buildings that are full of kids and adults. Not everybody has an opportunity to be vaccinated. Like you said, anybody under age 12 has no choice about whether they can be vaccinated. There are kids who have chronic health problems who are in schools that may or may not be vaccinated, but are still really, really high-risk people who are just part of the normal classroom environment. We have adults who work in schools who, again, may or may not be vaccinated, but in some cases may not be able to be vaccinated. We have seen, what it's like trying to do school virtually for a year, and it was not a great experiment, in most cases. We really want to keep kids in school for face-to-face instruction for not just academic reasons, but for all the social reasons and mental health reasons and even nutritional reasons and all those good reasons. So this is our best advice to keep kids in school.
Here we go. Look. You say, look.
She got through the first year of teaching children in a pandemic. Now find out what this educator is seeing in year 2 and what advice she has for parents concerning their children. That's next on our WTVA 9 News special, Coronavirus and the Classroom. Welcome back to our WTVA 9 News special, Coronavirus in the Classroom. I'm Craig Ford. Parents and students know firsthand about trying to go to school during the pandemic, and so do educators. We met Okolona Elementary kindergarten teacher Lakeisha Johnson last September, where we saw her teaching in person as well as virtually. Johnson welcomed students back on Friday for their first day of school. All except one are attending in person. And I asked her a variety of questions. How's she doing? How's she handling a second year of COVID? But my first question for her, masks or no masks for students at Okolona?
Masking. I do, during lunch, they get an opportunity to demask. During SAC, they have an opportunity to demask, because even as adults, sometimes it's hard for us to keep these on all the time because they are hot, and which it's hard to just tell a 5-year-old, hey, you should keep your mask on. They're like, I'm hot. But they understand that COVID is real. They do. We talked about it again today. That's been part of our routines and procedures. And about touching, we wipe down high volume areas daily, sanitizing, washing hands, staying the proper distance, staying masked up. And the more it becomes a routine, the easier it is for them to adhere to. Right now, personally, this summer, I needed that summer. I took the time to self-reflect on things that worked for me, things that didn't work for me, things that I want to change, and that's constant. As a growing and evolving educator, we have to do that year after year, not just year after year, but day after day. That's why I have that mirror there, and I look at it every day. Okay, Johnson, did you do your best job today? And if I didn't do my best job today, I would try to do my best job tomorrow.
You had said that so far this year has been
one of my best years.
But you say that why?
I came in with a positive outlook. I did. I changed my total outlook. I said I could go back in with the mindset that I had. Okay, it's another year of COVID. Things aren't the same. But I chose to go in a positive direction. I'm going to make this one of my best years. And every year is a good year. You get nuggets out of every year. But I chose to look at it in a positive light. I want to come in and I want to be one of the influences of these students that I see on a daily basis. Not just the students that come into my classroom, but each and every student that walks down that hallway. You're going to get love in any capacity from me that I can share. And that is the mindset that I want to continue to have throughout this class this year, whether it's traditional, whether it's virtual. We don't know what's going to happen, but I still choose to remain positive.
Your advice to parents as far as what they need to do and to help their children get through this year?
Make it as normal as possible. That helps. Make it, even though we probably will never get back to life as usual, but learning to adapt to your circumstances. Letting your child know it's okay to be afraid, but we have to go on with business as usual. Staying in contact with your teachers, with anyone that makes a part of the school system. Make it normal for them. Understand, hey, it's a part of it. Wash your hands. Stay 6 feet or 3 feet. Keep your mask up. Make your personal space your personal space. But also try to make it as normal as possible for them, because they need it. Children grow through interaction with other children. And a lot of that last year was stripped. And you can see the difference. But this year, we're trying to make things as safe as possible and as normal as possible at the same time.
A community college president gives his reasons for having students, faculty, and staff mask up. Hear from him next on our WTVA 9 News special, Coronavirus in the Classroom. Northeast Mississippi Community College announced on Monday a temporary mask mandate to start the fall semester. Those in-person classes start this coming Monday. College President Dr. Ricky Ford spoke with us about why there's a mandate and how the college plans to move forward during the pandemic.
We were hoping that the cases would begin to decline and begin to go down, but obviously they did not do that. And so for the safety of our students, for the safety of our instructors, we felt like, and also to keep the quarantine numbers down, we decided it was the best interest of all to temporarily put the mask mandate into place for all indoor areas, dining halls, office spaces, those type of things.
Going into a second year of dealing with education during a pandemic, are you optimistic? Do you feel better? Do you think you've at least got a better sense as to how things are going to work?
Absolutely. You know, last year, beginning in March of 2020, when we all went into online distance learning 100%, and we actually shut the institution down, and no one was here, and we were coming in 2 days a week. So we graduated from that on into summer school, where a lot of folks didn't have summer school in 2020. Then we went into the fall semester with mask mandates, distancing, hand sanitizer, all the works. We had it all available, but to be honest with you, we didn't know what to expect. And as we've gone through the fall of 2020 and the spring of 2021, and we kind of got the COVID under control a little bit as far as the school setting situation and also out in the public situation also. And then we went to summer school and we didn't require masks. So we began to think, okay, this thing is beginning to subside a little bit. And then all of a sudden this Delta variant raises its head up, and we're back to square one where we were in the spring of 2020 with cases running rampant and those type of things. But we look back and we see the things we had in place, and some of the things we had in place, personally, I don't think was necessary, because we didn't know what we were doing, and no one did. So as we've gone forward with it, we're beginning to see that there's two things that are important. First of all, we've got to make sure that we have masks on, and that's a personal opinion, and everybody's got their opinion about masks being worn or not being worn. They don't do any good. They do. Everybody's got their opinion. So, I just went on the research that we had accumulated, and we felt like that the masks were very important in reducing the transmission of the COVID virus. And then, of course, the vaccines were available, and the vaccines are effective. So we felt like that in combination with the mask and the vaccines, that we were going to be able to reduce, first of all, the number of students that we had on quarantine. And then it was also going to reduce the transmission of the disease, the virus. So therefore, we are combining all of that into a safe environment, we feel like, for our students and for our employees. So we're going to continue to, we have 2 dates, the 23rd and 24th of August set aside. We're going to promote the vaccinations among our students that don't have it, also our employees that don't have it, and anyone else that would like to come by and take that vaccine during those 2 days. Then we have 2 more days a little bit later on set aside for the second vaccine that we'll be giving. And we have a partnership here with Baptist Hospital. They're going to come on board. Our nursing faculty, our nursing students are going to help to give the vaccinations. And this is just another way of educating our student body, all of our students, and also everyone else in our community. I've told our folks all the time, there's 2 things that we've got to do to get through this. We've got to navigate through it the best we possibly can. And as we navigate through it, we must educate people going through it. That you got to wear a mask if you're in a heavy populated enclosed area. You need to get a vaccination to protect yourself. And then also those sanitary things such as washing hands and distancing and those type of things. So as I said, we've got to navigate through it, and we've got to educate through it.
Football and band, extracurricular activities like football are popular in schools and universities. Get a glimpse at how some plan to handle those extracurriculars with the Delta variant cases raging. It's next on our WTVA 9 News special, Coronavirus and the Classroom. We're not that far into the new school year and already coronavirus cases are causing problems. Calhoun City's football team had to scrap a scrimmage and forfeit the season opener because of cases triggering a team-wide quarantine. The Hatley High School band is in quarantine after 3 positive cases. So extracurricular activities could be a challenge this school year. WTVA's Matt St. Jean shares with us how 2 local schools are doing their best to avoid coronavirus cancellations.
Well, last year we had a lot of planning time. You know, we planned all summer. Our coaching staff did a great job. Our kids did a great job, of understanding what's in front of them.
Coach Harden and the Tupelo Golden Wave started official practice this week. He said the team is doing whatever the Tupelo school system and the MHSAA is telling them to do. But seeing games getting canceled already is alarming.
When you look up and you already got teams canceling games, you're just like, man, I don't want to be that team. I don't want to be that. But, we can only control what we can control.
Harden said that he can keep an eye on the team on the field, but off the field, he's relying on senior leadership from players like Dion Shumpert, who is telling his teammates to
stay protected, stay safe. This COVID stuff, I told him stay safe about it, man. It ain't nothing to play with.
Across town at Tupelo Christian Prep, the 1A Eagles don't have the same number of players as the 6A Golden Wave, but head coach Sean Holliday is dusting off the 2020 coronavirus playbook to ensure his team stays safe.
It hit home once, when you see Calhoun City and Houston not playing their first game, it becomes reality, and the kids understand now this is something serious. This could affect us just as easily as it could them.
TCBS graduated a big senior class last year, seniors who didn't get to have a standard season. This year's seniors, like Jake Prather, seeing the rise in cases and news of quarantines is bringing up some bad memories of 2020.
It really, puts the team on edge, not knowing whether we're going to play one week to the next. We missed multiple games last year, and it really put a hurt on the season.
There's much more happening at football games than the game itself. You've got the crowd, the cheerleaders, and then there's another big part of the game experience. At Mississippi State, that group did something this week that was only a dream this time last year.
So you have to get that left leg completely behind you, yeah? Yeah.
You may not recognize them without the uniforms, but this is Mississippi State's famous maroon band, always a crowd pleaser.
So I just want to see 4 steps.
But to do that, they have to put in the work before the school year starts.
And 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it usually starts here with band camp.
Our right shoulders need to be pushed forward. Otherwise, he will not be able to play anything further than 4th position.
It's a reality in 2021 for Elva K. Lance, the director of bands at MSU. Not in 2020, however. And that was just the beginning.
We didn't get to perform at halftime or pregame. Those are big traditions for college band programs.
2, 3, 4. The band also didn't meet as one like this. The coronavirus forced members to meet in smaller groups and to perform wearing masks.
There are many of them that we've not seen other than their eyes because of the mask and so forth.
Lance expressed pride in how the students handled last year under difficult circumstances, but this band camp allows the famous Maroon Band to turn the page.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 1.
This is the beginning of everything.
Most of our first and second years, people didn't even get a band camp, so this will be where everyone learns basics.
So, learning fundamentals, learning pregame and halftime shows, and maybe more importantly,
a lot of us have to get to know each other better and learn how to work together better, and learn how to make music together, and that's something that we haven't done in a long time.
Not just that, they have to do that safely in a pandemic.
Place your horns up. One more time down the field.
Outside as much as possible instead of inside.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The band won't just be getting ready here on the practice field behind me. They will actually be going under some pecan trees here. Band leaders have already set up multiple folding chairs. This is where they're going to go, especially on a good day. Under these pecan trees, going over music, getting ready for that first performance. But as you can see, masking is not going away anytime soon.
We don't have to wear a mask outside, but we are masking up inside, so that's still kind of the same from last year.
We are certainly following the science given to us by our university officials as well as our State Department of Health, and we're trying very hard to meet those guidelines, and I think our students will do what we ask.
The plan calls for a return to the usual, leading pregame cheers, lining up for when the players come out of the tunnel. And I can tell you the plan for halftime for the Louisiana Tech game for the season opener September 4th, Stevie Wonder tunes. There's one tough question facing parents concerned about their kids and COVID. We turn to an expert to get his take next at our WTVA 9 News special, Coronavirus and the Classroom. If your child goes to one of those schools where masks are recommended, not required, what should you do? This week we got an answer from Dr. David Kimberlin, an expert on pediatric infectious diseases.
Right now, my default is that children, even in mask optional districts, should go to school. That's right now. I could find that to be an ill-advised comment a week from now if things are as bad as they may be. And that's why it's such a tough question. There is no one right answer. There's certainly no harm in it. There's nothing wrong with a parent saying, no, I'm not going to do that for my child, or at least not to begin with. I'm going to have them at home. That's a decision a parent should make for their families and their children. But we do know the negatives of that also. I wish we had better options right now. And the lay of the land is pretty much as my lengthy answer just kind of put out there in front of you, as I see it anyway.
WTVA 9 News will work hard to make sure you have the most accurate, up-to-date information concerning the coronavirus. I'm Craig Ford. Thanks for watching.